Well, children, I thought I'd take a minute and come talk to you. It's been a while since I've been on here. I just ain't had no stories to tell. There just ain't been nothing happening much story worthy. But anyway, I seen on the Facebook today, or when it was yesterday that I seen it, that there was a man down in Mississippi now that's living in the nursing home. And they said that, the nurse called the coroner and told him he's dead and come get him. So the coroner went and pronounced him dead, and they got him cleaned up and put him in the body bag and zipped it up and took him on down to the funeral home, and put him in the room with the dead bodies. And then I reckon directly the embalmer come, and he's getting ready to do his part, and he got to noticing that one of them bags in that room was moving, children, and he said he just kind of stood there trying to get his bearings. I would too, or I don't know if I'd stood there if I'd have took out running just as quick as I could. But anyway, he stood there and he said then in just a few moments that it was as if somebody in that bag started kicking, children, and he said he went over and done nothing but unzip that bag, and right there that man laid 100% still alive, and then and I tell you what, I just don't know what I'd have done. I swear I don't believe I could have got up the courage to unzip that bag if it'd been maybe, he worked at the funeral home. I'd say people working at the funeral home, they probably see a lot. But anyway, so then he calls the ambulance, the 911. I mean, could you imagine being on the other end of that, and then when the funeral director calls and tells you they've got somebody still alive? Oh, Lord have mercy. I ain't never in my life heard to be. So anyway, so they come, the ambulance comes and gets that poor old fella. I mean, could you imagine waking up there in the morgue? I tell you what, that would not be a fun thing to happen to a fella. But anyway, so they transported him on to the hospital there in the ambulance, and they pronounced him alive. And then could you imagine having to call somebody's family who was grieving the bereavement of their loved one and tell them, we're sorry, but the diagnosis that your father or uncle or brother or whatever has received was a false diagnosis, and he's still alive. I mean, good night. Could you imagine? I mean, I just can't even imagine having that happen. Now, children, which now his family, they was a good sport about it, and they was just tickled to death. Well, that's probably a poor choice of words, but they was happy. I mean, they was tickled that he's still alive, and said it just wasn't his time to go. But now I tell you what, now, children. Now whenever I die, I'd be sure I'm dead before you take me down to the funeral home. I talked to the local funeral director, and the funeral director in Mississippi, he'd said that he speculated that the man had a pacemaker, and that it had somehow or another misfired or something other, and had revived him right back out of the dead right there at the funeral home. But now the funeral director that I spoke to, he said that he just didn't much believe that. He said he was, thought that funeral director might have just been trying to save face. But he said that he figured it was a misdiagnosis from the start. The man never was dead. He said whenever he was in the coronary school, I guess that's what it's called, that they taught them that if they had any doubt whatsoever that the person was dead, that they could take a glass of water, half full or half empty, however you want to look at it. But, you know, I try to look at things on the positive side, you know. But anyway, they take a glass of water half full and set it on the person's chest, and they said if there is any life left in that body, that water will move. You'll be able to see it. So now, children, if I go, I want you to do that water test before you send me on, because I'd like to know that I was 100% dead before you send me on to the funeral home. But now, I'm telling you what, children, I'm telling you what, if that don't take a cake, if that don't take the cake.